Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. So yesterday, Edison Cavani got shown a straight red card for Uruguay for a nasty stamp on Richarlison. Uruguay did lose the game by 2-0, and it was Brazil that beat them. Now, Edison Cavani could be making his first start for Manchester United at the weekend against West Brom. These reports coming out saying that Martial, Rashford and Greenwood could be unavailable. I think Edison Cavani's done well though for Manchester United in his last couple of games. Obviously scored his first goal for the club in the 3-1 win against Everton. He almost scored with his first touch when he came on against Chelsea. Now, we got Edison Cavani on a 3 transfer and he signed a 2-year contract with a football club worth over 200 grand a week. Edison Cavani wears the number 7 now at Manchester United. But honestly, I would start him over Anthony Martial because Anthony Martial's been in a bad vein of form recently. So that's the breaking news on him. Now, I want to delve into some news in regards to Raphael Varane. So, according to the Manchester Evening News, they are saying Manchester United could make a fresh approach for Raphael Varane, and he will cost us a lot less than £100 million. We've inquired about his availability before, but Real Madrid said that they wanted around £100 million. Now, Raphael Varane has got around 18 months left on his current contract with Real Madrid. He has been a long-serving player at Real Madrid. I think he's been there, 10 years or almost 10 years. He's made over 300 appearances for Real Madrid in all competitions, and he's won a total of 18 major honours. And he is 27 years of age. He'd go very, very well alongside Harry Maguire in our back line, because Manchester United do need a centre-half. I heard that Raphael Varane is sustaining injury whilst he was on the international duty. So too as Sergio Ramos. You know what I mean? So yeah, so that's the breaking news on Raphael Varane. And there could be a possible swap deal as well on the agenda, involving Raphael Varane and Paul Pogba. Varane coming to Manchester United and Paul Pogba going to Real Madrid. Now anyway, I want to delve into some more news on Paul Pogba. So I think Manchester United need to sort out Paul Pogba's future. Now, Didier Deschamps has been talking about Paul Pogba again, and Didier Deschamps says he understands Paul Pogba more than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does, and he's praised him for his huge talent. France recently beat Sweden by 4-0, and Paul Pogba was impressive. Didier Deschamps also said that Pogba's been mentally impacted with his struggles at Manchester United. And he also said not so long ago that Pogba cannot be happy at the club for playing out of position and for being left on the bench. And he said he wanted to hold talks with Paul Pogba over his situation at Old Trafford. Now, Paul Pogba has made a few comments recently. He was talking about his struggles at Manchester United this season, and he said this season is the most difficult period in his career. Paul Pogba's made it clear that he is unhappy at the club because he has lost his place in the team. He's only started 2 of our last 7 games. I think that is in the league. And Paul Pogba said playing for France is a breath of fresh air. Don't forget Frank Leboeuf recently criticised Pogba, reflecting on his comments. Richards, he also criticised Paul Pogba, reflecting on his recent comments. He's received a lot of criticism in recent weeks. Now, Pogba has had a long-running transfer saga. I'm expecting him to leave the football club next year. It will probably be next summer. It's unlikely to be the January transfer window. So, last year, Paul Pogba, don't forget, made an admission saying that he wanted to leave Manchester United because he was seeking for a new challenge. And he was relentlessly linked to a move to Real Madrid last year, and earlier on this season, Pogba made an admission saying that one day his dream is to join Real Madrid. Now, there's obviously been a lot of narratives of him going back to Juventus. Pogba did endure 4 good years with Juventus. The vast majority of his performances at Man United have been totally comparison to his ones at Juventus. PSG and Barcelona have been in for him before. And like I updated you yesterday, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Paul Pogba's relationship has become very complicated, reflecting on what Paul Pogba has recently said. Now, it said the other week we'd lowered our asking price and we was willing to accept around £52 million for him because we're going to find it extremely difficult to get more than the £89 million that we paid for him. You know what I mean? Paul Pogba was also unhappy when we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract earlier on this season. So Pogba's under contract with the club until June 2022, and Fabrizio Romano had also confirmed that. But this is his 5th season at the football club since he rejoined. Pogba's sustained a few injuries as a Man United player. Obviously, for the vast majority of last season, he was out with an ankle injury. He has made over 100 appearances for us in all competitions since he rejoined, and he's won 3 trophies at the club, and that was the Europa League, the League Cup and the Community Shield. We also had Pogba when he was a lot younger under the Sir Alex Ferguson era, but we had to let him go due to limited appearances. But he's our most expensive signing at the moment because we paid, was it £89 million for him. Not only that, he's one of the highest paid players at the club because he's on 290 grand a week. Isn't there? But there has been no talks whatsoever over getting Paul Pogba a long-term contract at the football club. But Pogba's agent Mini Raiola said during the summer transfer window that Pogba wanted to stay and he would hold talks over a new long-term contract. So there you go. So that's the breaking news on him. Now, Manchester United are set to offload 4 players in the January transfer window. And those 4 players are Marcus Rojo, Phil Jones, Sergio Romero and Timothy Fosu-Mensah. And I presume we'll be looking to get rid of more players next summer. Now, Marcus Rojo, we're doing the right thing by getting rid of him because obviously he's never really established himself as a first team regular since he came to Man United. I think we paid just over £16 million for him from Sporting Lisbon back in 2014. And he sustained quite a few injuries now. Don't forget Rojo was out on loan with Estudiantes last season. As for Phil Jones, he's been very, very inconsistent since he came into the club. I think this is Phil Jones' 10th season now at Manchester United. He has been with us since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. Phil Jones is currently out with injury at the moment, and not so long ago he had an operation. That's a Sergio Romero. He's our 3rd choice goalkeeper, isn't he? Sergio Mero's enjoyed a good 5 years or so now at Manchester United. He's always been our backup goalkeeper anyway. We got him on a free transfer from San Pandora back in 2015. Is Romero under contract with the football club until 2021, if I am right? And as for Timothy Fosu-Mensah, he's hardly played for Man United. So it is good that, we are making plans for the January transfer window, but we're not obviously only going to focus on the outgoings, we're also going to focus on the incomings as well. Because I think Manchester United need around 4 or 5 signings to win the Premier League title. Probably need around 2 signings to compete for the Premier League title. But there has been a lot of players on our agenda. There's been that David Carmo on our agenda from Braga. David Ornstein from The Athletic recently said that around 10 clubs have contacted David Carmo representatives over a possible move. Dayot Upamecano, he's on our agenda. I think it's likely we'll go in for him next summer. We probably won't get him in January. I think he's available for around £38 million at the end of the season. That Dan Axel Zagadou, he's been another player on our agenda. Jadon Sancho, I think we're going to go back in for him in January, according to recent reports. Could go in for Ousmane Dembele in January. Also could even go in for Erling Haaland. Jack Grealish, he's also another player on our agenda. I think Solskjaer recently had a private chat with Jack Grealish. So there you go. But I think the players Man United will be looking to get rid of next summer. I think Matic could go next summer. I don't think he'll go in January because, Matic has lost his place in the team. Juan Mata could also be sold as well. Like I said, Paul Pogba. Daniel James, he's out of form and doesn't really get in the team a lot now anyway. He could go next year. Could possibly loan Brandon Williams out, because Brandon Williams is now our third choice left back, following the arrival of Alex Telles. So there you go. But the question is, will Ole Gunnar Solskjaer still be Manchester United manager in the new year? Well, it depends on how we go after this international break. If we are to win our next 5 or 6 games in a row, or we're just to avoid defeat, then I think he could be still Man United manager in the new year. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is under pressure at the football club, isn't he? Reflecting on our poor start to the season. We're sitting 14th in the Premier League. We've only registered 10 points from our opening 7 games so far in the Premier League this season, and we've not yet won a game at Old Trafford in the Premier League this season, so it's our worst start at Old Trafford for around 50 years. But Solskjaer set to stay for this present time. Don't forget, Woodward came out last week and said Manchester United remain absolutely committed to Solskjaer despite our poor start to the season. Now, we've had some good results this season, but we've also had bad results as well. Now, the good results we've had is when, we beat RB Leipzig 5-0. It was a good result against PSG because we're beating them by 2-1. We had a good result against Everton as well. The bad results Man United have had was the 3-1 loss to Palace on the opening day of the season. We had the 6-1 loss to Tottenham on the third game, was it? We had the 1-0 defeat to Arsenal the other week. And we had the 2-1 loss to Istanbul Başakşehir. That was an absolute embarrassment as well. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, this is his second full season at Manchester United. He's managed over 100 games for the football club in all competitions. He's won around 57 games as Manchester United manager. Ole's got a contract with the club until 2022, hasn't he? And if we did decide to sack him, it'd cost the club around £4 or £5 million. Yeah, but he's been with us almost 2 years now. 2 years now, like I said. We appointed him in December 2018 to obviously replace Mourinho, and he's been permanent Man United manager since March 2019. Now, I do believe that Solskjaer is in a position that he shouldn't be really in, because I think we did make a mistake by giving him the job permanently, but we're giving the job permanently reflects on what he did in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. But we've made a lot of mistakes in the last 7 years or so, and that's one of the main explanations why we have been so inconsistent and that. Obviously, there's been rumours of Pochettino becoming Manchester United's next manager. He's obviously been the favourite to take over. I don't think Pochettino will happen now because Pochettino's not willing to wait, is he? Massimiliano Allegri, he's been linked with a managerial role at Man United a few times. The other week there was talks of Julian Nagelsmann coming in. But we haven't really got the structure to keep sacking managers, really. We're not known as a sacking football club, despite the fact we've sacked 3 managers since Ferguson left. We sacked Moyes, we sacked Louis van Gaal, and we sacked Jose Mourinho. So, Ollie's our 4th permanent manager since the Ferguson era. But like I've gone through with you, there's issues at the football club that Ollie Solskjaer has to solve. He's obviously got to solve the issue with Paul Pogba. He's got to solve the issues with Greenwood, because Greenwood's had quite a few issues this season, off the pitch that is. Obviously he's got to work out his best midfield, because obviously we've got Bruno Fernandes and Fred that are undroppable, reflecting on their good performances. But like I've said so many times, you've got Pogba, Matic, Van der Beek and McTominay fighting for one position, and that's something we've got to solve, definitely. Solskjaer's got to decide on Edison, Cavani and Martial. He's got to work out his best formation at the club. Solskjaer's gone a lot with a 4-2-3-1 formation since he got appointed in as Manchester United manager, but in a lot of our games it hasn't really seemed to suit our standards of 4-2-3-1. In the big games, Ollie's gone with like the 3-5-2. A few times he's gone with a 4-3-3 formation. Solskjaer's also got to identify his best 11. And if he's still Man United manager next year, he's obviously got to bring the right players in, and he's got to get rid of the right players, like I've already gone through with you. Solskjaer has spent over £200 million since he became Manchester United manager, and he's endured 4 transfer windows at the club. In the summer of 2019, he brought Daniel James, Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. In January, he brought Bruno Fernandes in, and he brought Odin Igalo in on loan. Igalo will leave, by the way, in January when his loan expires. Forgot to mention that earlier. And in the summer transfer window of this year, we brought Donny van der Beek in, we brought Edison Cavani in, we brought Alex Telles in, we brought Facundo Pellistri in, and we brought Amad Traore in. Amad Traore will be joining the football club in January. Solskjaer is actually facing a dilemma with Facundo Pellistri. Solskjaer actually promised Facundo Pellistri first team opportunities when we signed him, but Solskjaer's broke that promise. Solskjaer said Facundo Pellistri needs more time in the reserves before he makes his debut for the first team. He made his debut for our under-23s last month when we played Everton. We beaten them by 2-1. We've seen obviously a lot of players leave the club since Ollie got recommended in. Solskjaer did well in his first full season at the club. He got us qualification for the Champions League, also got us third and guided us to 3 semi-finals. I also like the way he has promoted the youth, and Solskjaer showed a lot of tactical flexibility as well in a lot of the big games. So there is positive to take. Now, Ollie was a great player for the football club for 11 years. He flourished under Alex Ferguson's guidance and that. But Ollie as a manager, I don't think he's good enough because he hasn't got that proven pedigree as a manager. Manchester United is the 3rd club in his managerial career. Now, reflecting how long he's been at the club, you can say he's learned quite a lot and he's obviously gained managerial experience. You know what I mean? But yeah, we've been playing catch up for the last 7 years or so, haven't we? Like I said, we've had different managers with different philosophies. We have spent over £1 billion now since Ferguson left, and we've recruited over 30 odd players in since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. Obviously, under Moyes, we brought Fellaini and Juan Mata in. Under Louis van Gaal era, we brought the likes of Schneidlin in, Sebastian Schweinsteiger, Di Maria, Falcao, Memphis Depay, Daley Blind, Rojo, Darmian, Martial, Shaw, Victor Valdez, and Ander Herrera, Sergio Romero. They're the players we brought in under Louis van Gaal. Mourinho, he brought 11 players into the football club. Mourinho brought in Lee Grant, he brought DeLoin, he brought Lindelof in, he brought Bay in, he brought Pogba in, he brought Matic in, he brought Fred in, he brought Mkhitaryan in, he brought Sanchez in, he brought Ibrahimovic in, he brought Kovac in as well, if I'm right. He brought Lukaku in, that's another one. So actually the vast majority of his team is Jose Mourinho's, and put into the equation, Solskjaer's inheriting a lot of players here from the Jose Mourinho era, isn't he? But I just think it's going to be hard for any manager at Manchester United to replicate Ferguson's legacy or to last as long as Alex Ferguson did. It's as simple as that. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013, so we haven't won it now for like 8 years. Now, we go up against West Brom on Saturday. If we do beat West Brom, it will be our 4th win in the Premier League this season, and it will be our first win at Old Trafford in the Premier League. Now, the preview for the West Brom game should be coming up sometime tomorrow. It is Saturday, 8 o'clock kickoff. Now, like I've already said to you, Alex Telles should be making his Premier League debut for the club. The Brazilian outlet UOL recently said that Alex Telles tested negative for coronavirus. But it was totally contrast on Saturday, because on Saturday it said that he tested positive for coronavirus for a second time. Now, Telles has already had the virus once. Telles has only played one game for the club so far, and that was the 2-1 win against PSG. But I think he's going to be a very, very good signing for Man United. I really, really do. We know that Bay's still out with a muscle injury. I think he's out for a few weeks. That's my element of concern about Eric Bay. Far too injury prone. Jones still injured. Lingard's still injured, but I think he's close to returning. I forgot to mention him earlier as well. I think Lingard's another... What?
You know cars and vans?
Yeah.
Cars and vans and that.
Yeah.
They're getting banned in 2030
Why?
for electric vehicles.
Are there?
Boris Johnson's banning them.
Are there? Is there?
So your mum and that won't be able to drive a car.
Yeah.
In 2030. It's 10 years yet, but it's something. It's been up nose, isn't it? They're all getting banned. It's all going to be electric. There'll be money involved.
There always is. So yeah, like I said, he's close to returning. Rashford's got a shoulder problem, says he could be a doubt. Martial's had a few back problems. Mason Greenwood as well could be unavailable, but definitely Ollie's going to make some changes from the 3-1 win against Everton, isn't he? But yeah, should be beating West Brom, poor outfit. Sitting 18th in the league, haven't won a game yet in the Premier League this season. Their current manager is Slaven Bilic, isn't it? They finished second in the Championship last season. That's how they obviously got up to the Premier League. West Brom. The last time we played them, though, we lost to them by 1-0 at Old Trafford. That was a couple of years ago now. Also lost to them under the David Moyes era at Old Trafford by 2-1. But yeah, very poor outfit. I think a few of their players have had to self-isolate, and that's Matis Pereira and Branislav Ivanovic. Might be available for the game on Saturday for West Brom. Callum Robinson, I think, has recently been out of injury. They've had that Sanfield out with injury as well. that Carnu, he's out of injury. I don't think he's going to be available for West Brom at the weekend. I know a few of the other players they've got as well. You know, they've got that Carlin Grant, they've got that Grader Dianga, they've got Charlie Austin, he's a former Southampton player. They've got that Conor Gallagher, they've got that Dario O'Shea. He was injured not so long ago. But yeah, I've already gone through with you anyway how Manchester United could line up. And, you know, Luke Shaw, he won't be available because he's got a hamstring injury. That's bad. You know, he's out for up to a month, Luke Shaw, with this hamstring injury. It's my element of concern about Luke Shaw. You know, he's just far too injury prone. So yeah, so anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.